The big Marvel panel at Comic-Con 2024 ended with the earth-shattering news that Robert Downey Jr. will be returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this time to play the iconic supervillain Doctor Doom. But once the initial euphoria dies down, many Marvel fans may be left wondering, how is such a recasting possible? Marvel directors Joe and Anthony Russo will be re-teaming with Downey for the first time since they killed off Tony Stark together in 2019's Avengers Endgame, but they did not divulge many details about their upcoming movies other than their titles. The fifth Avengers movie, initially called Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, has now been revamped to Avengers: Doomsday with a focus on Doom instead of Kang, while the sixth one will still be Avengers: Secret Wars. But the Russos did mention that introducing Doom into the MCU is essential preparation for the latter film, which gives a slight indication of what we're in for here. It's the biggest story that Marvel Comics ever told, Joe Russo said on stage about Secret Wars. It's the reason Anthony and I are standing up here. It's world-colliding epicness. But we need to make another movie first. There is one very important character that is required to do it justice. Secret Wars was a massive Marvel event comic, written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Asad Ribic, and first published in 2015. It tells an epic story of the multiverse getting destroyed by a process of parallel universes colliding into each other, thanks to the machinations of a group of powerful supernatural beings called the Ivory Kings. In that comic, Doom is able to save a small group of characters from across time and space and assemble them on a ragtag planet called Battleworld. In other words, you can't do Secret Wars without Doom. And if the post-credit scene of the Marvels is any indication, we won't see an MCU X-Men movie without Secret Wars bringing parallel universes together. Since Secret Wars is a multiverse story, that raises the distinct possibility that Downey's Doom may buy a multiversal variant of Tony Stark. That would be different than how variants have previously worked in the MCU, where they all share a common name or, in the case of the Deadpools from Deadpool and Wolverine, at least a costume. But then, Doom never plays by anyone else's rules. Introducing Doom in an Avengers movie is another surprise, since the character is usually the archenemy of the Fantastic Four, who, as it happens, are also making their long-awaited MCU debut soon. That movie is set to feature Ralph Inessen's World Eater Galactus as the primary adversary of the team, but since it's set in a different universe than the main Avengers timeline, maybe Doom is that world's equivalent of Stark. The fact that we'll now have seen the character Reed Richards played by two different actors in MCU movies, John Krasinski in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and now Pedro Pascal in the Fantastic Four, first steps, may make it easier to accept the same actor playing two different characters. Downey played Stark as a fast-talking tech genius, setting the template for many subsequent big-screen superheroes. Doom typically has a totally different personality, a haughty European American who is deadly serious about his own talent. But since Downey just won an Oscar for playing Louis Strauss in Oppenheimer, he's certainly proved his range. In the 2016 comic Infamous Iron Man, Dr. Doom took up the mantle of Iron Man while Stark was in a coma. That scenario doesn't make sense for Avengers: Doomsday, since Doom is a brand new character to the MCU, but it does demonstrate that the two characters, despite their many differences, have also directly intermingled in the comic book canon. There are other examples of that as well, issues of What If, and various multiverse stories in which Marvel comic creators have imagined Stark and Doom switching places or combining in some way. New mask, same task, Downey said on stage while clad in Dr. Doom robes after taking off his metal mask. What can I say? I like playing complicated characters.